Tamaduni ni mali, pesa ni karatasi. Pesa ni karatasi, oh, usiuze roho yako. Ni mali, pesa ni karatasi. Tusiache tamaduni yetu, ninaomba. Tamaduni ni mali, pesa ni karatasi. Na vitu vyetu jamaa tunafaa kujivunia. Tamaduni ni mali, pesa ni karatasi. Pesa si dhahabu, oh, thamani yake huisha. Tamaduni ni mali, pesa ni karatasi. Naomba, oh, jamaa, tusijisahau. Tamaduni ni mali, pesa ni karatasi. Toleka. Pesa ni karatasi. Pesa ni karatasi. Pesa ni karatasi. Pesa ni karatasi. Nakati ya London. Toleka. Twende, twende, twende wewe usiogope. Twende, twende, twende wewe usiogope. Twende, twende, twende wewe usiogope. Aye mama, toko ninae. Aye mama, tutacheza. Aye mama, toko ninae. Aye mama, tutacheza. Nairobi City, nisalimie wana Masika. Utoe bengi yo, bengi mio. Pesa ni karatasi. 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 Pesa ni
Hello and welcome to AIL TV. This is the music section. I have been promising you that I am going to bring you some exciting music from East Africa. And today we have it. So, look, the guy that I'm going to be interviewing today, or I'm talking to, really, I don't take this one as an interview. We are going to have a discussion about the music he plays and how he got to play this kind of music, because I'm familiar with it. I am from the region where that music is played. I don't want to bore you with words, man, but let me tell you, this guy, you know, when I first heard his music, I jumped, my head nearly hit the roof. So, yeah, because it's very, very interesting. This is something that we do not expect, especially, well, here is the guy that is going to talk about his music, and his name is Shyam. Shyam, you're on.
How are you guys doing?
Good, good. So,
Yes.
now, we want you just to just introduce yourself, just for a minute or two. Tell us who you are and how you came to play this music.
So my name is Shyam. of course. Shyam Shah, which is a name of Indian descent. I'm from Nairobi, Kenya, but I'm currently living in London, and I am a musician by profession. So mainly a performer, a band leader, and I also write music. So specializing in old school styles of East African music. Yeah, mainly rumba, Congolese rumba, of course. Things like bringing in some Benga, Chakacha, all the different sounds from Kenya, and trying to bring a new sound to it. Yeah, that is me. That is what I do.
Cool, cool. Now, I just want to. Now, let me just ask you. This is just a direct question. How long did it take you to learn this music?
I'm still learning the music. I'm still learning music because music never has an end. So I've been studying music since I was a child, about 4 or 5 years old. And African music came about maybe when I was 16, 17, when I got introduced to it on the guitar by my teacher who's of Congolese descent. And then, slowly I took over. I realized at some point, you need to play your own music. And so I identify as being Kenyan, as being African. And so I said, this is good music. Why not follow that?
Very, very, very interesting. Now, let me ask you this, because your name, of course, is Indian name. Why did you actually choose to play this music? You could have said, well, yeah, I'm going to play Indian music, but hey, let me groove with Benga, man, Chakacha and all that. Yeah.
It's interesting because this is something I've battled with a lot in my life, and everywhere you go, everyone says you're Indian, you have an Indian name, but in reality, I was born in UK. I lived here for 5 years. I moved to Kenya. I grew up in Kenya. Swahili is basically my first language with English, and yes, we are of Indian descent, but I am the 4th or 5th generation born in Kenya. So the language changes, the music changes, the food changes. And growing up in Kenya, everything you hear is Kenyan sounds. Before that, I used to play things like reggae, jazz. But then I realized that you'll never play other people's music better than them. So why not look up for your own sound and play your own music? And so that's where Benga came, Rhumba came. And, there's a wealth of music there which is no longer valued, which is no longer really played anymore. So.
Okay. So, right. You see, in Nairobi, have you played with the bands in Nairobi with African musicians?
Yeah. So, just about when I was 18 years, and I was working in Nairobi, I formed a band called Orchestra Masika Africa, which was basically the only full-time big band running in Nairobi. And so we were a Rhumba band playing covers and original music. So we released 2 albums in our years active, which was 2015 to 2019, just before I moved to UK. And there was a band of, at one point, almost 15 musicians. So, you have Luo musicians, guys from the coast, Kikuyu musicians, Tanzanians, Ugandans, Congolese. It was a complete mixing pot of musicians from everywhere in Africa. And so, playing with these guys, everyone brings their own flavor. We started experimenting with different music. And at the same time, playing music of like Franco, Leswanika, you learn about your own music.
It is just amazing just to to hear you actually play. So basically, you are a multi-instrumentalist as well.
I'm mainly a guitarist, but my philosophy to music is that if you're a musician, everyone is a singer, whether they realize it or not. Everyone is a percussionist. Everyone is a dancer, and then of course you pick your instrument. For me, that's guitar. But along with that, there's guitar, electric and acoustic. You'll end up with bass guitar there. It's very easy to diversify in that family of instruments. You just need to practice. Yeah.
Okay. You see, now let us talk about with the people you are. Before we go to hear one of your songs, because we are going to talk about the songs and why you come to write these songs. Do you see in my background here? Let me expand it. as you can see, is a very good drawing of you. Let me just go on the side so that people can actually see what I'm talking about here. So it looks like you are working with a lot of people in your music creation, because music, it is not only playing an instrument, but also you have to involve graphics like what we are seeing here at the back, and it's can you actually explain just how do you find, say for example, an artist like this one here, who have managed to create very good imagery of yourself?
So the artwork is by a Spanish artist named Ana Belpor, and it's through connections I made when I was in Kenya. So when I was working in Nairobi in those 4 years, it was basically exclusively with my band. Because I was the band leader, I was also the manager. So I didn't have any time to do any collaborations with people. And when I decided to move to London, of course, part of it was because I wanted to challenge myself. In Nairobi, we were performing regularly to the point that even the excitement leaves the profession. So I said, let me drop it and come to London, where now here, you have to sing, you have to play, you have to produce yourself. Resources are limited. But along with that comes space for collaboration. So some of the collaboration, for example, is like this one with the artwork. It's with musicians from all over the world. Some are UK-based, from Zimbabwe, from Honduras, artists. And it became a whole multimedia thing where we wrote a song, recorded it, produced it, and things along those lines. Of course, working with fantastic musicians here in London, Congolese musicians, British producers. And then, you just create more and more music. So it's just about the network, really.
Yeah, but I must say, your sound is really, 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 really clean. But let me say this: you actually produce this yourself, because if you see with our music, it is not really complicated, but the Western ears and they hear this music differently. I struggle sometimes, even when it comes to the mix, to do that until you think, look, I have to do these things myself. Now, how about songs? Because your songs, how can I explain? Because they are direct, like this song called Karatasi, Pesa ni Karatasi. For those who understand Swahili, you will know. But I want you to explain to those who do not understand Swahili, what is Pesa ni Karatasi?
Money is paper. Yeah. That's it. If you want to know more, you have to listen to the song, and find someone who speaks Swahili to explain to you. So I find it very interesting how in writing music, usually Swahili music or like Rhumba is usually about love or witchcraft, or, typical topics from a simpler time, if I can put it like that. But right now in the world, there's so many issues. And for me, being someone who listens to reggae music a lot, and for many years I had dreadlocks, I had it all. Music has power to carry a message. And so for me, as much as, of course, you'll write some love songs, things along those lines, you can also use music as a tool to enlighten people. So, of course, right now, with everything going on, people chase money. It's so much capitalism. It's basically the world has become a rat race. It's good to remind people that there's more to life than money. Culture, for example, is very valuable, which is what the song is talking about. Yeah.
Okay, so let us just hear a little bit of Pesa ni Karatasi.
Walai mama, siku nitarudi kwetu, tafani ya sherehe kubwa. Takuja na maarifa yote toka ng'ambo, nitarudi kujenga kwetu. Walai jamaa, tunafaa kujivunia na vitu vya kwetu. kupita. Walai mama, siku nitarudi kwetu, tutafanya sherehe kubwa. Nitakuja na maarifa yote toka ng'ambo, nitarudi kujenga kwetu. Oh. Walai jamaa, tunafaa kujivunia na vitu vya kwetu. Oh. Hapa Afrika tuna mali ya ukweli, pesa hukuja kupita. Tamaduni ni mali, pesa ni karatasi. Pesa ni karatasi, oh, usiuze roho yako. Ni mali, pesa ni karatasi. Tusiache tamaduni yetu, ninaomba. Tamaduni ni mali, pesa ni karatasi. Na vitu vyetu jamaa tunafaa kujivunia. Tamaduni ni mali, pesa ni karatasi. Pesa si dhahabu, oh, thamani yake huisha. Tamaduni ni mali, pesa ni karatasi. Naomba, oh, jamaa, tusijisahau. Tamaduni ni mali, pesa ni karatasi. Koleka. Pesa ni karatasi. Pesa ni karatasi. Pesa ni karatasi. Pesa ni karatasi.
Yes, yes, pesa ni karatasi.
Yeah.
Ndiyo vile. Lakini sasa, hebu nikuulize tena.
Sawa.
As your roots are from India, have you thought of probably collaborating with Indian musicians to bring them into this kind of rhythms?
So again, it's interesting because personally I don't play Indian music. I don't have interest, although it is around. I've done collaborations in the past with my last band where we've had like a tabla player performing with us.
That's what I was saying, that maybe to introduce different kind of sounds, you know. Yeah. Well,
so
okay.
what? Sorry.
Go on, man. This is your stage. You speak.
No, what I normally do is with my own music, I have my message. I have the way of doing things. So I am very old school and traditional in the way that I arrange music. I play music. At the same time, now being in London, I do a lot of collaboration. So right now, working with house DJs, like South African musicians, all different types of things. And of course, if I meet, a tabla player right now or someone, of course, I'll be open to trying something.
So, okay, how long have you...
Coming to almost 1 year. So about this time last year is when I quit my job as the band leader. Yeah, we actually released an album this time last year called Dunia Ni Moja.
Okay.
Of course, you can listen online everywhere, Spotify, YouTube, so on. Yeah.
Right. So I just want to talk more about your music and how do you see yourself? How do you want to position yourself in the music world? Because our music, it needs a lot of push. They did. Peter Gabriel actually tried a lot, especially with Congolese musicians, but it seems it never went as far as how it should have been. So, well, maybe because with social media and the technology being accessible, or easily accessible, do you think that you might actually reach a stage where others haven't been?
I think for me personally, it's too early to say.
Okay.
So, what's actually driving my music right now and everything that I do is the pursuit of growth, if I can put it that way. So, when I was in Nairobi, we were doing very well, but at the same time, we became very comfortable. And when you're comfortable, you stop growing. So, leaving that and coming here to London, where I'm surrounded by excellence everywhere I go. The likes of Bokalia Burkina Faso, who's the ex-lead guitarist for Wenge Musica, and sharing stage with people of that standard makes you grow as a musician. And at the same time, so testing your own abilities. So for me, like, can I sing? Can I produce? What do I need to grow and what do I need to learn? Songwriting and so on. And so that's what I'm doing my music for. And maybe it'll reach a day where, of course, with social media, the fact that we're in London and I am of a different generation, maybe than the original Roomba people, maybe the music will pick up again. Or maybe it'll evolve and develop in its own direction. But for me personally, you need to make the music that you want to make. And then whatever happens afterwards, it will happen.
So this music, like what we have just heard or listened to, Pesa ni
Mhm.
Karatasi. Did you record it by yourself or with other musicians too?
No, of course, I prefer working in a live setting with a band. But because of the whole pandemic, everyone's stuck in the house.
Yeah.
And so I'm a professional procrastinator in that I was saying, I'll write music when I have a band, or we'll record music when we have a studio. Or if I want to do a video, I need someone to come and shoot it. And I've realized that, you can just do it yourself. It might not be the best, but at least now you have something to show.
Mm.
So in that, of course, then the world has changed. With the last generations, they used to sign expensive record deals. You end up with big studios, lots of people around. Whereas right now, the studio scene is evolving, and a lot of the things you can do, you can just do it in your house on your laptop and get the same quality. So, yeah,
Okay.
self-sufficiency.
Fantastic. Now, talking about, I'm very interested in this artist who did your artwork. Does this artist? Where did you say she lives?
So she's based in Spain, and we met through a project which was a collaboration between different musicians. So the way I was involved is someone I used to work with in Kenya
Right.
was a lady called Wani Angara, and so she's a Latin jazz singer from Honduras who was based in Kenya at that time, and she has a whole worldwide kind of let me say worldwide network of creatives who do, of course, charity work, creative work together.
Mm-hmm.
And so through that, she brought me into that project. Through that, the artist was brought in, who's also an audio. She does visuals as well, so videos. And so hopefully the project will be released soon, and you'll be able to see more of her work. Yeah.
Because just looking at what you've just done, I am just really pushed to think that maybe we should do a collaboration. I would like to shoot some of your visuals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As for that one, I am I am just seeing things in my mind. But also we need to bring in an artist like this lady here,
Mm-hmm.
so that she can actually do some magic, because you see these images here, if they are animated and oh man, it's animated
Yeah.
plus you doing your magic is just fantastic. So well, I think we have actually covered a lot of ground, and I think we have got probably uh, yeah, about 7 minutes to go. What would you like to say for those people who want to play African music? Because you see, I have been championing here to play sukusu guitar,
Mm-hmm.
and in fact, I did a video with a guy called Kawele
Mm-hmm.
to teach people how to play sukusu guitar, and we are going to do it now. I have just figured out how we're going to do it. I kept saying that it's like a prophecy really coming true, because I kept saying this music, it can be played by anyone. It doesn't matter whether it's Chinese and Colombian. Now we can actually see people of different origins actually playing this music. Why is this music so attractive to people of different backgrounds? Can you really explain to me why do you think that is?
I think when music is good music, it speaks to people. And so, for example, if you look at Franco, and if you go to Kenya till today, you'll hear Franco's songs on the radio. But most Kenyans don't understand any Lingala. So it wasn't even the words that were being said that moved them, it was the music itself. And I think there's something unique. I think there's a whole different world of music, of course, the African music scene, the Latin music scene, which is completely different from, Western music and the pop and everything. So most people want to follow the gamma that, they want to be rock stars, they want to be pop stars. But also there's an entirely different world full of fantastic music and fantastic musicians, of course, Kawele being one of them. And, there's no shame in following whatever you want to do. And I think that's maybe one of the barriers which put people apart. So, they'll say, oh, I'm not Congolese, so I can't play Congolese guitar. And in some instances, you might even find a Congolese guy who will say, oh, non-Congolese people will not manage to play it as well. But you'll be surprised. The world is changing. There's a band in Japan called Yoka Shock. I don't know if they're still around or not, but they played fantastic Congolese music. They recorded their own albums, and it's Japanese guys. So
and also this music as well is very popular in Colombia.
It is. I realized that very recently.
Colombia, seriously, and I don't know whether you were around then. There was a guy called Canindo. He's a Luo guy. He used to, he's a producer, yes. He sold a lot of records in Colombia. Benga in Colombia is actually big. So
it's funny because same in Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
That Sungura and Kanindo. If you go now to Kenya, people don't respect Benga music that much. It's something primitive. It's rural. It's no longer played, and everyone wants to play like Sauti Sol and so on. But if you go to Zimbabwe, people love Sungura and Kanindo. And it's Kenyan music that Kenyans have basically thrown away or put in the back seat. And now you're seeing, Zimbabwe.
Yeah, well, I must say that is their loss, because I can tell you now my campaign on East African music is very simple. I am saying to music producers, to television producers, it is very funny. A Kenyan video producer or a documentary maker will make a documentary, and then they will put orchestra Mozart music on a Kenyan documentary. So I always ask myself, really? How are you promoting yourself? How do you expect you to play Western music and be accepted? You are going to work probably 1,000 times harder than you would be your original. I always say, look, my friend, you cannot sell snow to an Eskimo or selling sand to an Arab. That is, they will just say, oh, really? So I actually applaud you with what, because you see, I think it is all about philosophy. For us, many East African musicians, or not only East African musicians, have got this concept that if you don't play funk, if you don't play hip hop, you haven't done anything.
Yeah.
You see, and for that, for me, I just see they are really wasting a lot of energy, waste a lot of time. They can try to be hip as much as they like, but I can tell you, I have come to learn a lot, because myself, I'm a musician, and also, but also I do produce music now. These days I'm making music for library music for films and stuff like that. So, and I have come to realize the thinking in the West is totally different. You will yes, you will do something for them. Even the way they design the cover, the way they present it is totally different from ours. So, but we need a guy like you. You are going to educate a lot of people. This is for me, all the stuff that I have been saying. Man, you have shown it. You have shown it. So now, yes, we're going to finish now, but let us just talk more, just a little bit. Tell us your future plans. I know you have touched them a little bit. So if you tell us in 5 years' time, 10 years' time, where do you want to see this music?
I think, again, for me, music is about growth and it's about personal growth. So the reason I moved to London was to find challenge. And when I came here, I really found it. And so instead of running away back to Kenya, I decided to stick it out. And now I'm surrounded by some of the best musicians I've ever come across. And by being in that same atmosphere, you know, you grow as a musician. You learn new things, you learn new styles of music. In terms of my music, what I'm trying to do is basically exactly what you're saying, to make people respect their own African music. And, you know, to make people realize there's so much wealth and culture. If you go in Kenya, you know, Kenya has 44 tribes. And each tribe has their own styles of music, their own language, their own dances. If you expand that to, you know, Tanzania as well, Uganda, Congo, trying to bring all of these things together in a way which is skillful, well arranged, and in a way which will also appeal to the entire world. Because I think the world is changing. The world has become like a big village that, you know, the internet connects all of us. So it's very easy for anyone anywhere in the world to hear anything. And of course, you know, music carries power. So don't just sing about, you know, anything. Try and put meaningful lyrics behind your music. And so hopefully in 5 years, I'll be better educated than I am now. And I can do what I want to do better. And then, of course, taking back to Kenya. So help people back home to realize, you know, if you're going to play jazz in a restaurant in Nairobi, maybe you'll have money on that day, but you're not going to go anywhere. No one's going to pay for your plane ticket to go to New York to play jazz, for example. Whereas the guy who's playing near TT in a field somewhere is probably going to be in London next week.
Well, listen, as we are talking, the point you are talking, my brother is in Copenhagen. He's always moving around. You know Macadam?
Macadam. I know him very well.
Right. Yes. We have just actually, he's a guy who is also hell bent on his Nyatiti sound. So, but that is very good. And we have just, I have just, when I was given a contract to do, to contribute to an album of, to do library music, I made sure that I want at least 2 Kenyan artists. So Macadam, I just said, even though they wanted my songs, I said, no. There are other people now need to be heard. And then there is Judith Wire Namacheke. You know her? She plays
I've heard the name
as well.
Yeah.
Especially now being a woman. Now, you see, this is what you are saying. People need to start hearing this. If, as you have said, whether you're, no matter how good you are, you can be a good jazz musician. You can be you are very few African jazz musicians like Richard Bona, and then there is this guitarist from Senegal who plays with Herbie Hancock. I think he's called Luweke. Very serious guitarist. Those are the ones that I have seen at the moment. There might be there. But hey,
you see, there's always the African touch, though.
Exactly.
Like Richard Bona.
Yeah.
As much as it's jazz western, he always brings something African into it.
Exactly, into it. Yes. Well, man, Shyam, it has been a very good day talking about music, especially music from East Africa.
Thank you very much.
Continue flying the flag, man. That's what I can say. I'm sure we're going to speak again. So,
of course.
For now, I am going to stop here. All I'm going to tell the viewers now, look, listen, man, we have been listening to Shyam and his music, but also I'm going to leave you with Pesa Nikaratasi. This is like what you just saw was a tester. Now we're going to jump into the 7. And until next time, keep watching this space, AIL TV. We are very passionate about music. Let me not hold you. As you know, COVID-19, I know you are in the house, but then again, you have to do other things. Until then, ciao.
Tamaduni ni mali, pesa ni karatasi. Pesa ni karatasi, oh, usiuze roho yako. Tamaduni ni mali, pesa ni karatasi. Tusiache tamaduni yetu, ninaomba. Tamaduni ni mali, pesa ni karatasi. Na vitu vyetu jamaa tunafaa kujivunia. Tamaduni ni mali, pesa ni karatasi. Pesa si dhahabu, oh, thamani yake huisha. Tamaduni ni mali, pesa ni karatasi. Naomba, oh, jamaa, tusijisahau. Tamaduni ni mali, pesa ni karatasi. Koleka. Pesa ni karatasi. Pesa ni karatasi. Pesa ni karatasi. Pesa ni karatasi. Nakati ya landa. Toleka. Twende, twende, twende wewe usiogope. Twende, twende, twende wewe usiogope. Twende, twende, twende wewe usiogope. Aye mama, toko vinae. Aye mama, tutacheza. Aye mama, toko vinae. Aye mama, tutacheza. Nairobi City, nisalimie wana Masika. Utoe bengi yo, bengi bilo. Pesa ni karatasi. Pesa ni karatasi. Pesa ni karatasi. Pesa ni karatasi.